Welcome to today's webinar on Microsoft Copilot and Azure AI driving productivity in modern enterprises. Thanks for joining us this evening. My name is Ankita and I'll be your moderator for today's session. I represent SpringPeople, India's leading enterprise training provider. Now, before we start, let me tell you about us in brief. SpringPeople offers over 3,000 instructor-led courses delivered by 4,500 industry experts covering areas like AI and machine learning, cloud computing, data science and analytics, DevOps, software testing, and more. SpringPeople is trusted by over thousand enterprises, including Fortune 500 companies, and partners with leading global technology organizations to deliver certified, industry aligned training. Now, coming to today's topic, modern enterprises are rapidly adopting AI to improve efficiency, decision making, and employee productivity. In today's session, we'll explore how Microsoft Copilot and Azure AI are transforming the way organizations work by automating repetitive tasks, enhancing collaborations, and delivering intelligent insights across business functions. Participants will learn how Copilot supports everyday workflows in tools like Microsoft 365, while Azure AI enables scalable, secure, and customized AI solutions for real-world enterprise needs. And to guide us through this session, we are happy to welcome our speaker for today, Mr. Anuj Kumar Jha. Mr. Anuj is a seasoned corporate trainer with over 12 years of experience in IT consulting, specializing in Microsoft Dynamics ERP and Power Platform. He's a Microsoft certified trainer and certified Scrum Master with extensive experience in Dynamics 365 finance and operations, commerce, business central, and Power Platform. What makes Anuj's session especially valuable is his hands on approach. He has worked with Fortune 500 companies, managed complex projects, led cross functional teams, and delivered both in person and virtual training that focuses on real world outcomes. We are glad to have him with us today. Now, before we begin, just a couple of quick housekeeping points. All participants will be on mute during the session to avoid background noise. During the Q&A session, you're welcome to raise your hand and we'll unmute you so you can ask question or seek clarity on any part of the session. You can also post your questions anytime during the session using the question box and Mr. Anuj will address them towards the end. With that, let's get started. Over to you, Anuj.
Hi, I hope I'm audible. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome again today webinar hosted by Spring People. My name is Anuj, and I'll be your guide as we explore the remarkable journey of how AI, specifically the Copilot and Azure AI, is transforming the modern workspace. Let me start with a small story. A few months ago, I was working with a customer who told me, Anuj, while I'm spending 3 hours every day to catch up on emails. Right, this is not even a one customer story; it is a repetitive stories at all. Okay, so I joked like that's not an email engagement. 3 hours for a day means a full day job. Correct? There must be somebody who must be there to help you out with your emails itself. He said no. We basically are using our own skills to do it. But to be frank, when I thought about it, the reality actually hit me. Isn't this the story of every professional today? Because even for me, as a huge load of mails that comes up to me in order to answer them accordingly, read them, go through them, understand what each email means, and so on. But then he said something interesting. After trying, when he was speaking, it was sometime like I understood what his problem is, like to understand how his whole daily routine is all about within the organization. When I'm talking about the email, I'm talking about within the organization. Hence, the purview is of the copilot is within the organization, within a particular type of business area. Okay. Now, when I talked to that person post implementation of Copilot, one of the Copilot implementation that happened with him, what he said is after trying Copilot for just a week, now what happens is he gets all his email information summarized, and what he says to me is like From 3 hours, my overall time limit for overall understanding what kind of information I need to get from the from my email is just down to 25 minutes. So what happens here? So there are two things. One, either you have your own personal secretary to do that activity for you, or there should be somebody who churns up a set of whole data and then give it to you in concise way. Or else by writing small prompt or by creating a certain script, you get the data completely in a concise way. That helps your overall day's journey. So when I realized AI isn't basically just a futuristic concept at all, but it is actually the present day necessity now, right? Something it is actually reshaping our own work that we do today. So through this presentation, I really want you to reflect on one thing. What if you can reclaim 1 or 2 hours of a day every day without changing any kind of activity, what kind of job you do in an organization? That's what Microsoft Copilot and Azure AI is supposed to do, right? When you talk about productivity in modern enterprises, what there are the modern enterprises are of two level of enterprises, correct? One is the company in which you work, how to modernize it. Another is the software or the enterprise specific solutions, how to modernize those enterprise solutions within your organizations to get a perfect some information, let me pardon, the whole set of information into some information, the opposite way around. Okay, so we are trying to harness the artificial intelligence to enhance the overall workplace efficiency, and overall productivity. That's how what we'll discuss today. Yeah, to help everyone to get started, also to understand about it, I want to understand one question which is very pertinent. How many of you have used this chat GPT of any of the generative AI tool in last 3 months? I hope you do answer that in the chat as well. And moderators, please do hold of that data as well. That actually will help you to understand the psyche or the kind of experience our attendees have. Right. So most of the hands, I'm sure, or the information that you are putting up there, I'm sure, which is it is yes, in the terms of the kind of information that you basically are using to get your day easier while using your AI through any of the means, maybe ChatGPT, maybe Copilot, maybe Perspective AI, or whatever is the AI available in the market. So I am from more Microsoft background, so I'll promote only these two. Others, I'm not. I do use it, but I will not take the name. Okay. But here's a twist, right? ChatGPT doesn't know your organizational context. When it is ChatGPT, it is universal, correct? Your meetings, your documents, your projects, your information of any application that you are using, say you are using ERP or the enterprise source planning, there you have a whole set of data like what are the vendors you are interacting with, what are the customers you are interacting with, what are the finances that you're interacting with. The ChatGPT doesn't understand that. The ChatGPT is on a whole world basis. It is basically based out of that. It's basically the GPT. What GPT versions are you being used, or GPT you being used? So ChatGPT gets information from plethora of different information that you feed to it. In fact, what I feed in ChatGPT and you feed in ChatGPT, maybe your ChatGPT, what in data that you have put into the ChatGPT to get some answer. Maybe I'll get some of the answer using your references as well, but ChatGPT will not be understanding the things happening within your own organization. So what does Copilot does? Copilot, think of Copilot as a colleague, right? It may know your calendar, it can remember your conversation, organize your documents, understanding your priorities, and to be frank, it is one of your colleague who never takes a day off, correct? So let me give you another analogy. Okay, imagine you are building a house, right? So what will Microsoft Copilot will do? So Copilot is like having a personal architect, interior designer. It can be a handyman, or roll into one who understands your own lifestyle. Great. And to on comparison to it, Azure AI is like having an entire Home Depot, right? And that from that depot, what will you get? The raw materials, the tools, the machinery to build anything from the scratch, right? Both are powerful tool independently, correct? But together, they're unbeatable. How? Azure AI will provide you everything of the information that you need, the tool, machinery, or the raw materials for creating a house or basically architecting a house. But Copilot will work like a personal architect, the interior designer, or a handyman, which basically does your work. Correct. But the data which it fetches is from the Azure AI, right? So Azure AI provides the data or how the data will basically scale out to be, and Copilot basically uses its algorithm, its GPT, and to get the data accordingly from Azure AI. So Azure AI will have what? The data of your own organization or the product. When I say product, it means the enterprise product or the enterprise software is within Azure AI, and Copilot uses that to give you answers according to your needs. I hope you guys are following. If there is any issue with the with my mic, the speed which I speak, please do highlight it. And moderators, please do let me know as well. Okay, moving ahead. The ecosystem of ChatGPT, let me rephrase, the Copilot and Azure AI is not just technology alone. As we have seen that together they become unbeatable. The ecosystem works because of certain aspects to it. What are the certain aspects, right? The certain aspects which I talk about is the LLMs. I think I have added a slide of an LLM or not. I think I have missed one slide, but fine, I'll just come back. There are some things like LLMs, which are basically large language models, Microsoft Graph, some orchestration layers, and some of the 365 applications. By the way, I will not go through each one of them. The reason being is I've already gone through them in one of the webinars. So I will not go into intricacies of what Azure AI is. I want to talk about how Copilot and the AI, Azure AI foundations can be set up to get the information flowing between the organizations or the enterprises, maybe a company as just a company or an organization which uses an enterprise specific tools. Yeah, let me go ahead. Productivity with Microsoft Copilot. Yeah. So let's dive a little deeper into productivity because there where the Copilot shines. I want to start with a realistic scenario of us that we may face. Imagine your manager messages you at Teams at 4 p.m. and says, "Hey, can you give me the summary of the meeting with you had with the client? We had on Monday." But the problem may happen that you never attended the meeting, right? So maybe you were traveling, maybe you were on the call. Personally, me, I am at any point of time minimum 2 calls or maybe even 3 calls. So what I do is before the Copilot, in fact, when I became too much dependent upon Copilot or the GPT, what I used to do it's funny, but what I used to do it, I used to have one on laptop, one on another mobile, and I used to own another mobile so that I can have calls at least on the three different. So wherever I used to hear the name, my name being called off, I used to mute the other one and then go to the other one. So it used to be very problematic for me because I need to be aware of what is happening in the three, all the three meetings or two meetings. So it makes my work easier here. So what we do is like I don't maybe I have never attended that meeting which my manager is calling me to give information on. Maybe I'm traveling, maybe I'm on the call. So now what happens? Normally we'll scramble and check what all things has happening. So what we happen is we have to check through the Teams chat or maybe some transcript created, skimming them, taking up the notes and drafting a beautiful summary so that my manager is at least at least get information what he gets, he or she or they get. So this may take how much time? I'm sure it will take at least an hour of time if it was a 1 hour meeting. Half an hour meeting, it should take around 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but 1 hour for sure it will take for 60 minutes meeting. So simply, or you can ask Copilot to summarize the meeting or from the decisions for the Monday's client call. Boom, what do you get? This maybe you get the discussion points, action items, deadlines, owners, who are the owners of what data or information that needs to be shared within that meeting, what are the risk, what we have talked about a risk, and any decisions have been taken, maybe the action points which the team members have to do. It is not just productivity, it is just I would say, I have a term for it. We have a term in my friend circle. We say that it's a digital telepathy for work. So we by digitally we telepathically means we understand what is happening through it rather than we being actually doing the physical work out of it. Right. So that is what. There's another anecdote I want to share with you is a finance team I worked with had monthly MIS reports that took at least 4 to 5 hours each. Guys who don't know what MIS is, management information. So what happens is in MIS report, overall manage the leadership team of the organization. They want to know about some of the information, some of the processes that is going around in the company. Maybe finance, maybe order based, whatever it is. It they generally take the reports out of the. They want report to see because they cannot go through each records or each information to get the data. They need a summed up report for that. So the management wanted an MIS report, and each MIS report used to take, or at least to clubbed up together, maybe around 5 hours or 6 hours. So they moved that work. So what they did is they moved that workflow into an Excel with a Copilot. Now what they do is they finish the same report and get the information of the report in just 28 minutes. So what the finance controller told me is, we have stopped fearing about the month end, right? Guys who are part of the month end activities, you must know that how important and pain taking it is the month end, right? Everybody moods is in swing. Everybody is high on emotions or their hormones, whatever is it. Everybody is like shouting at each other, we want this report, we want that report. Order has not been punched, order has not been posted, and this creates a huge problem within the organization, because when two people are fighting for some data or some information, it turns up into bad situations as well. So so this is what I call it, the transformation. It's the finance controller said we don't need to go into so detailed. We have to we just go through some of the info. We have to just put the Excel into the Copilot, and we get information as much we want. So what does this even more is relatable is that Copilot adapts to your writing style, your data, your workflow, your preferences, and that is not one size fit all. It is like it's personalization at a huge scale, right? So what it is doing is automating routine tasks, enhancing content creation, contextual understanding, design support, improving the communication, collaboration, customizable AI integration. So what is customizable AI integration? Does it basically tailors, you can create even AI assistants, or what we call as agents, with specific business processes and for data integration. So a Copilot Studio is basically also a place where you can create AI agents. I'll just give you a quick information AI agent. So what is an agent? Agent is, okay, what does your agent do when you basically go to an insurance and all? So your LIC agent, what does it? That particular agent will help you with a certain kind of policy. For certain other kinds of policy, there are sometimes other kinds of agents, right? So agents are basically, it's your, you can call it a personalized AI. Agents are something like some AI based customizable AI integration you write using the Copilot Studio, which takes a specific type of data and helps you with a specific type of business process itself. So agent is for that. So what an agent works, agent do is it basically helps you with a specific type of business process or business scenarios. Okay. The next set of topic is Azure AI business use cases. Meanwhile, moderators, you can also release the polls and the questionnaire also. Meanwhile, I'm continuing with the session. Yeah. Okay, so now let's zoom out and talk enterprise level transformation. I've talked on more on the personal anecdotes, one-to-one information shared with the, say, your finance controller or the or the customer, right? So let me just talk on a more on enterprise level transformation. What does Azure AI does and do? Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, so I love to talk about anecdotes and the analogies when I'm talking and doing the webinars. Why? Because I don't want it to be mundane work where I keep on speaking on something and then it becomes a little boring. So I just want you to know what in actual world it happens. No, okay. So here's a fun analogy. I will just let you know. So if Microsoft Copilot is like an intelligent assistant, okay, what does Azure AI is? Azure AI is like entire AI factory where the intelligent assistant gets assistance with the data. Okay, you can build custom copilots. You can create say a chatbots. You can have a documentation over the automation system, language models, industry specific solution just for within that AI factory or the Azure AI. Let me also share you a few more real world stories. So a banking sector. In that, one of the projects was about the banking sector, and that was a document processing. So I will not give you the whole conversation. I will give you what exactly the result of that usage happens. So one of the bank had nearly had 30,000 customers onboarding forms every month. Understand, 30,000 customers every month. This means divide by 30, around 10 about 1,000 customer onboarding every day in a month, correct? So before they had the Azure document intelligence, using in Azure you can basically create certain models for the Azure document intelligence. So what I used to happen is 48 people handle that manually. Understand? So they used to keep people on the contract basis for only this purpose. Okay. So with Azure AI, the extraction accuracy basically reached 96%, and the processing times dropped from for each document. The processing used to be for about 10 days. It dropped to less than 2 to 3 hours. Understand the kind of impact, and number of people also reduced. Okay, so I'll give you another anecdote regarding one of the manufacturing company projects that I was part of. So it was the predictive maintenance. So what happens is, in manufacturing companies you have the machines and you have to predict the maintenance of those machines, you know, right? Because if the machines keeps on working, they need maintenance, or else the machine will break. So a global manufacturer, basically of one of the vehicle manufacturer, basically I was working with, they use Azure AI to analyze the sensors of the machine, and they reduce the unplanned downtime by 27, either it was 27 or 25%. Okay, so what happens generally is, whenever you use and whenever you do the maintenance of a machine, the machine basically, you know, it will be 100%, it will be so for a time being, it will be basically be down, right? There will be a downtime. So what is unplanned downtime is, you have not predicted such issue will come with machine, but if you have proper predictive maintenance facility in that, it helps you a lot. And what another one is, from the retail analogy I'll give you. A retail chain basically was using an Azure AI to build a conversational assistant for buying items, for raising the sales of it. So generally you have the chat bot, right? So what happens is, and the sales basically increase 33%, because the kind of information they come to know, that there is a specific type of information has to be always be used with the customer. So that is what, instead of sales assistance, it's simply using the conversational assistant built in Azure AI, help them. So when AI speaks, it will speak the language of your customers. Another thing is this healthcare. Another example I want to give on healthcare is the doctors basically generally, in one of the hospitals, it's a UK based customer I worked. There the doctor used to spend around 30 to 40% of their time writing the patient notes, right? So instead of that, we basically is what we did is, we implemented the doctor based implementation, which basically decreased overall writing about the prescription less than 7 minutes per 7 minutes or 10 minutes, because it takes a little longer time for them to write and understand what all the ailments are there and the medicine. This is how they reduce it. So these are not just scenario, these are not fiction stories, these are just real measurable enterprise transformation that are powered by the Azure AI. They think in more descriptive and more elaborate way. That's what I mean to say is, real world application of Azure AI is immense. And think of, not only does it help you in organization and a company, it also work or use for the softwares in which you're working in. So there's a finance based software for there, how to reduce time to give an approval, right? That also can be done. You can have an AI agent basically, which helps you to get the approvals being done, rather than manually tracking and getting the things done properly being accessed. Now the major problem that happens and understanding is this, the future roadmap, which all we know that it's the precarious different thing that a lot of people has an issue with, correct? The security and future roadmap. What is the future roadmap, and what is the security framework it provides? Because that data is, so we all know that today's currency is not money. That the currency of today is the data. And who has the data rules the world. Who has the data rules the scenarios. Everything is around that. So let's address the most important topic, security here, right? First, the biggest pain point for anybody to adopt AI is what? The biggest pain point for adopting AI is what happens if something goes wrong. So what happens is, the biggest issue is regarding the security. What happens when your data goes out, or wrong data is basically pulled? The answer is always the same. The data privacy, compliance, and security are important activity that needs to be tracked using in an organization, right? So Microsoft basically goes around on a very robust set of principle that is called responsible AI principle, right? What are those? Microsoft principles are the fairness, transparency, your accountability, continuing monitoring, bias mitigations, all should be part of the inclusiveness, all are basically part of the AI system. So fairness, you anyway know, data has to be fair. Inclusiveness is something, one of the part of it, which I want to reiterate is one of the important things that Microsoft wants us to go through it, because what happens is, I'll be very frank, this I've even seen it is, and it's not being it, because the world is, we all also know that the world is full of people are racist, people are regionalistic, people are abusive. So how to tackle them? See, uh, uh, more data, if you try to put it in the that comes into the framework, the system starts with a bias, right? So we have to make sure that the responsiveness towards the inclusivity and transparency is always there. So I just wanted to iterate that this is the very important aspect. Here is an here another analogy I will use it. So imagine Copilot is a very is a super intelligent assistant, right? But it is locked inside your corporate building. It can read your documents, listen to your meeting, help with your task, but it cannot leave the building. It cannot copy your information. It cannot share it outside, and cannot train public models using your data, cannot train the people. It is trained by the people. If what the nature of the organization, and this let me that is nature of the organization. Also, nature of the people it interacts to are like that, right? Within an organization, you also have a set of people who are who have maybe there are they don't like a set of other set of people. Other people will be there, they don't like other set of people. So basically Copilot learns everything and tries to answer with that biasness. So that shouldn't happen, right? So that is something that needs to taken care of. So that is what security framework and future enhancement Microsoft is basically working on, and it has released, so that the this proper responsible AI principle is followed, robust security compliances are also followed. Right. So, like, I just want to discuss about the compliances here, because GDPR, ISO, and SOC certifications are important. You anyway are aware of GDPR, EU GDPR. Everybody is aware, correct? So Microsoft is bound to use GDPR, EU GDPR responsibility. Okay, so that is something. So your data should stay your data, correct? Not the public data. Now the future roadmap. Let me just paint a rosy picture. It is a rosy picture. What we where we are heading. We have AI. We will have AI that will understand the voices, the images, the videos, the charts, the handwritten notes, and everything all at the same time. It's actually attained, but it is still into more expanded in clarity of way it's going on. AI, we want an AI, and Microsoft is pushing for the AI which is proactively does work before even you ask. That is what AI agents is all about, right? And AI that becomes part of every business application. So Microsoft is implementing in their own Dynamics 365 application. They are implementing in their Office-based application, which is Word, Power PPT. You would be having all these information, right? So from them, it is basically that you have CRM application of Microsoft. Not only that, Microsoft is also helping to go into with SAP, with Oracle, and everything. So SAP Oracle, it cannot go directly. So what it does, it basically works with the data which SAP and Oracle ERPs basically work with, and then it gives the answers to you. So in that way, so since Microsoft products are Microsoft's own products, so it's easy for them to implement within the product itself. With SAP, Oracle, and the SAPs in other products, it basically works more on the data than on the UI side. With the other Microsoft products, on the UI itself, it basically talks on the same. Now let me we are entirely entering into the world basically where AI will sit beside us like a digital co-worker right now. So it no one to replace. So but please don't think that they are replacing us. It is basically enhancing us. And I took an examples of the bank, for example, a few minutes back, and said that 48 people used to use, they got reduced. But understand in a bigger, larger way. See, whenever a new technology comes, there will be set of people who will actually will be losing the job